We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Hey, they are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a dear heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll and the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobunigwe was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. Too bloody now, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my vein. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Hey. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is a sign of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh, yeah. People of Biafra. See, I shining on the wall. Oh, yeah.
We're now on part 3 of Biafra, the case for independence. Part 3 is going to look at the ad hoc constitutional conference. On the 12th of September 1966, the proposed constitutional conference began its sittings. Gowon called upon the conference to discover a form of political association best suited to Nigeria in the light of recent developments. a unitary form of government, and a complete breakup were expressly ruled out. He suggested 4 possibilities. Number 1, federal system with a strong central government. Number 2, federal system with a weak central government. Number 3, a confederation. Number 4, an entirely new arrangement which may be peculiar to Nigeria. On the following day, 13th of September 1966, the Northern delegation circulated their memorandum, which, as one would expect, or one would have expected, in the light of the past attitudes of the North to the constitutional affairs of Nigeria. It's worth recalling that there's a proposal made by the North on the 22nd of May 1953, where the debates of Northern House of Assembly on the 23rd of May 1953. So, in light of their past motives, if one studies this, it said that each of the existing 4 regions should be constituted into an autonomous state. Number 2, they suggested that these states should be served by a common services organization. Number 3, that each member state of the Union should have its own army, its own air force, its own police, civil service, and judiciary, but that there should be a joint navy composed of personnel in proportion to the population of each state. And fourthly, that each member state should reserve the right to secede completely and unilaterally from the Union. Well, at the suggestion of the Eastern delegation, the West, Lagos, Midwest, and East delegations prepared their own memoranda for comparison with that submitted by the Northern delegates. All these memoranda have been published in full by the Eastern government, the ad hoc conference on the Northern Constitution, Nigerian Crisis, Volume 4, Government Printer in Enugu, with the exception of the Midwest, who reserved their position on the majority of issues. All the delegations were in broad agreement on the loose confederal association of states. Now, the conference then agreed to adjourn on Friday, 16th September, after it had become clear that the Northern delegations were introducing delaying tactics, as reported by Chief Obafemi Awolowo in the previous section, i.e. part 2 of this booklet, and I reiterate this here. Awolowo was very upset, and he had this angry outburst. He said, some people wanted a more prolonged approach to the work of this conference, and it has now transpired that we have not made much progress after 5 days of meeting. I think most people are tired with the present army occupation in the country. If one section of the country feels that because they are in control and in occupation, therefore the conference may go to hell, that does not suit this delegation. So, that's the background then of the delaying tactics which I would have commented on. It was agreed that the conference should be resumed on Tuesday, the 20th of September. During the weekend, members of the Northern delegation returned home for special consultations, and on Monday, the 19th of September, Lieutenant Colonel Hassan Katsina, military governor of the North, flew to Lagos to confer with Lieutenant Colonel Gowon. When the conference reopened on Tuesday, the 20th, the Northern delegation announced that they now wanted an effective central government, quote unquote, immediate agreement on the creation of states, and that secession should not longer be written into the Constitution. This appeared to amount to a complete volte-face on their proposals of 7 days before. The West, the Midwest, and Lagos delegations associated themselves with the Northern delegation's proposal. The East maintained that until the North spelt out in some more detail what they meant by an effective central government, the position of the East was unchanged, namely that given the realities of the present situation in Nigeria, only a loose form of association can work. And if by effective central government, quote unquote, the North meant something very different from a loose form of association, the East could not possibly agree to it. Well, the following day, the North submitted a memorandum on their revised proposal, after which it was clear that the apparent unanimity of the other delegations the day before was not real. It was then agreed at the suggestion of the East that the exclusive legislative list, the list of subjects which under the previous constitution were the legislative province of the central federal government, should be examined by the conference, subject by subject, in order to determine which responsibilities of the government the various delegations would like to see remaining the preserve of a future central government. To quote again from the preamble to the ad hoc conference on the Nigerian Constitution, quote, after their preliminary run, only 8 or 9 subjects were left on the exclusive legislative list. Notably, such subjects as accounts of the government of the Federation, copyright, patents, trademarks, weights and measures, and similar non-controversial subjects. A subcommittee was then delegated to study the views of the delegations on the exclusive legislative list and report back to the conference in plenary session on Wednesday, 28th of September. The subcommittee subsequently reported unanimously to the conference, and it was later also agreed that an interim report on the deliberations of the conference should be prepared. This interim report was submitted to Lieutenant Colonel Gowon on Monday the 3rd of October, when the conference adjourned for 3 weeks for further consultations in the regions. Both the subcommittee's report adopted by the conference and the interim report issued in part to the press on the adjournment of the conference are transcribed in full in the Eastern government's publication already referred to. Now, the federal government pamphlet, Nigeria 1966, gives only the text of the government statements on the interim report. The 14 subjects which it was unanimously agreed should remain the responsibility of the central government were of the nature already mentioned. Now, as the Eastern publication says, it is interesting to note that although the statement issued to the press said that 14 items were agreed, the list was not given. Apparently, the type of items on the list did not give comfort to those who wanted to claim that the conference had agreed on the strong center or an effective central government. 9 other items of greater significance were left as central government responsibilities, subject to provisos permitting the regions to operate in these fields or otherwise safeguarding regional interests. The fields in question were aviation, external affairs, immigration, meteorology, nuclear energy, emigration, posts, telegraphs, and telephones, of course, railways and highways. Certain items which had previously been central government responsibilities were agreed to be transferred to the regional governments. It was also agreed significantly that the armed forces should be organized on a regional basis and their operational control vested in the regional commanders. Only for purposes of external defense in an emergency was it agreed that regional armed forces should be controlled by a joint central defense council. No decision was reached concerning customs and excise and revenue allocation. No agreement was reached on the creation of further states. The Eastern delegation held that the issue of the creation of new states is an internal responsibility of the regions. The initiative for the creation must come from the region within which the state is to be created. The East also raised the point, significant in the light of the conference's agreement on the transfer of general responsibilities from the central to the regional governments, that the splitting up of the country into new states will automatically have the effect of transferring functions which the smaller states cannot be expected to execute with their limited resources. This would once again engender inter-regional rivalry and political warfare to control the center. Indeed, it could well have been argued at the time, as it is being argued today, that a dispersal of the powers of a central government is incompatible with the creation of a smaller number of states or regions. A Nigeria divided into a greater number of units must necessarily be a country with a strong central government to exert a unifying influence upon the constituent states. The sudden volte-face of the northern delegation requires some explanation. The point has already been made that northern spokesmen have consistently pressed for regional autonomy since Nigeria was united in 1914. Insofar as Eastern evidence suggests that northern politicians combined with northern officers to plot the destruction of the Igbo element in the army on the 29th of July, the purpose of the plot was assumed to have been either control of the whole country or, failing that, secession of the North from the South. The outcome of the coup was part success, part failure. The bloody extent of its success has already been dealt with at some length. Its failure was in Enugu, where a preponderantly northern garrison failed to assassinate Lieutenant Colonel Ojukwu. It also partly failed by not taking into account that by handing the leadership to Lieutenant Colonel Gowon, the Hausa plotters were placing a middle belter in command of troops, a very high proportion of whom were also mid-belters. The publication, The North and Constitutional Developments in Nigeria, Government Printer in makes the following comment. This sudden volte-face of the North calls for understanding if the correct lessons are to be learned from the past and recent events in the country. As a result of the coup of the 29th of July, Lieutenant Colonel Gowon, a native of the Mid-Belt, had come to power in Lagos. Backing him was a powerful army, 80% of which were infantrymen drawn from the Middle Belt. Although the House of Fulani are in control in the north, it is the Middle Belt that is in control in Lagos. For a long time, the peoples of the Middle Belt have been vigorously agitating for the creation of a separate Middle Belt region, which would free them from the grip of the House of Fulani. But the latter have been ruthlessly scorching such demands. Now, the Middle Belt people now saw the ascendancy of Gowon in Lagos as their last chance to achieve their political ambitions, and consequently they press the issue of the creation of states on the northern delegation in Lagos. Confronted by the military might of the Middle Belt, the House of Fulani members of the northern delegation yielded. If the north must be split, the delegation also urged that the other regions should suffer the same fate. A year later, Mr. Walter Schwartz, writing in The Guardian, speaks of the coup d'etat which followed upon the northern coup of the 29th July, which he named the coup of the minorities. Now, it may well be that the coup of the minorities, quote unquote, was implemented just 2 months after 29th of July by the one minority that was in a position to force the issue, namely the Middle Belters. A further reason which has been put forward as influencing the North against carrying through their original plan to associate only in the loosest possible fashion with the South is the advice of expatriate economists who convinced Northern leaders that it would be suicidal for the North not to control its outlet to the sea. The rumors of the influence of expatriate advices are persistent, although so far unverifiable. Thank you.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Hey, they are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of our heroes' blood. Abagana Zobunigwe was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody now, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my vein. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Hey. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home.